tinfoil hat. Oh, what the fuck are you guys even talking about?
Global controls will have to be imposed, and a world governing body will be created to enforce them.
Welcome to Tinfoil Hat. We go deep, homeboy. Aaron, open your mind. Drink from the fountain of knowledge. There's lizard people everywhere. That's some interdimensional shit. Wake up, Aaron.
This is only the beginning.
Dude, you just blew my mind.
Are you ready to get your mind blown?
Good morning, Swarman. Welcome to Tinfoil Hat. You know I am. You know I'm here too. I'm here too. Joining me as always, Xavier Guerrero, and on the ones too, Jay Nice, Juicy Johnny, Johnny Woodard, live from the Wise Wolf Gold and Silver Studio. Just go to SamTripoli.gold. Use the promo code Tinfoil and get in on the precious metal games, guys. I'm going to be in Tampa, Cancun, Batavia, Columbus, Ohio, Pottstown, PA, Morristown, Jersey, and Phoenix, Arizona. My new special, Why Is Everybody Getting Quiet, is available for free on YouTube, Twitter, Rumble, and SamTripoli.com. Watch it for free. The reviews are in. I also want to tell you the Chaos Twins are out. Dude, we're writing it right now. Please join us. Grab your issue right now, issue number 2. It's my favorite project I do. It's for my daughters. This is dedicated to my kids. Check it out. If you have children, we keep it. I even talk to those guys. No crazy stuff ever in these issues. It's for kids, and you can guarantee it's going to be safe. So go check that out. Go to chaostwins.com. Grab that. Anything else, guys? We got a great episode with the one and only Borealis. This is part 1 of 2 parts. At the end, we decided we got to do a second part. And so this is the first part. We're going to do a second part very soon, and we'll get into it. So enjoy this episode with Borealis. It's an all-time banger. All right, let's get into it. We haven't even interviewed him yet, and he's already one of our favorite people to talk to. Very excited to have him in here. Please welcome to the show, Borealis. How are you, brother?
Hi, boys. I'm fine. Are you ready for a Nazi orgy?
Yeah, dude. Dude, say less. Say less. We're all about Nazi orgies here. It's our thing. You know, nothing about getting weird. So, Al, before we get into the Nazi orgy and we start whipping out Nazi dicks, let me ask you something. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and where our listeners can find you?
Sure, but I'll keep it brief because we have to get to the material.
We have to. I like that.
I've been doing this since 15. My show is called Forum Borealis. And one of the series we have ever since we started has been on the Nazi conspiracy, which I've heard you talk about. So I figured, why not bring the receipts?
Let's go.
Now, you know, this material, when we've done, you're going to realize it's Truman. It's real. It's not just shits and giggles. It's real. And we're seeing it right now. The war against Ukraine is sponsored by these powers that we are going through. And where can they find me? Everywhere. YouTube. I recommend podcast because I haven't released anything on YouTube in 2 years after they started quenching and censoring.
I get it.
There's hope that this will change, right?
So all the links to anything is in the description of the episode below. Just click any links and you can find Al wherever you want. So where do you want to start, brother?
Let's start with essential reading, just in case because usually that's last, but we're probably not going to get to the end of it. And by the way, guys, stop me anytime you want to discuss a point further, okay?
Perfect.
I want to say what I've done here is to compile info from different guests I've had on in this series. So it's not primary research I've done. I don't have time to do that, but it's compiled by my reading and my interviews with the guests. It's not complete. It goes from the 30s to the 70s. I could go all the way up to today, but I haven't had time.
I love it.
And I got to say, guys, every time every single time I have on a guest on this topic, on the covert post-war Nazi networks running the world, we get into technical problems, all sorts of problems.
Oh God!
I'm not kidding. You can prove it, but I mention it in every show. This just happened, that just happened. Like in one case, I had this primary researcher from Argentina. She's British, but she's been married into the Nazi echelon.
What?
Yes, and she has. She it was so much she couldn't speak about public, but she told me some stuff. I can't go out with that. But anyway, in her case, there was a. This is so old school. This is like they did in the old days. There was this, but it's Argentina, right? There was this, what's your tele guy? You know, those who climb these tele poles.
Yeah.
And they cut the telephone lines.
What?
Internet line right when we were scheduled to start, and she got back her internet line because it wasn't just her; it was the neighborhood too. Right when we were scheduled to be done. So that's just an example of the insane stuff. Now, in the beginning, I was thinking, yeah, shit happens, right? But then why is it only happening on this, almost only on this topic? So I went from, thinking it's a joke until being flattered because I'm onto something. And if it was on my end, it happened all the time, it wouldn't be significant, but it's usually on the guest's end. Because they are monitored, right? Because they have the receipts. So, it's crazy, Tom.
Well, real quick, we constantly are experiencing this. You have met your tribe, my friend, because we are constantly having internet problems when we're getting into certain subjects or just in general. If we have a hot topic, we have people, our internet slows down, our Zoom goes, and it's really weird when it's Zoom too, because that tends to be China, right? Yeah. So it's weird that the Chinese are in on it too. So we're with you. We believe this is very specific. I'm uploading. If I upload a video on my internet at home, it could take 4 hours, and that's hardwired. Wow. I'm on the road. I'm doing a Motel 6. The club's got me in a Motel 6. Bang! It's instantly uploaded.
It's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Even with the AC, Johnny knows they turn down the AC sometimes, and they want us here burning up in the studio.
Yeah, it's very weird.
No matter what, they don't want us.
They're on to us.
They don't want us broadcasting.
They don't want us getting the truth out. So everything you're saying totally resonates with me.
But it doesn't have to be the owners of the platform who does this. I mean, it's so easy to interfere,
Well, we know they're listening to everything. They know they know where you are. They know where I am. Yeah. And we just know that when we're probably talking about something they don't really want us to be diving into, they're going to make it as hard on us as possible.
But I think we're safe today because I'm not going all the way up to this year. I'm stopping in the 70s.
Okay.
That's kind of far enough behind that they let it go.
I was born in the 70s, so that makes me sad. But yes.
Yeah, we're both Generation X, bro.
Yeah.
And by the way, teasers, meat for the audience. We're going to get into JFK. We're going to get into Antarctica. We're going to get into free energy. Stuff like that, okay?
Okay. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Well, Mark was telling me, and he says that you might have the receipts for something that I have been saying forever, and I've said it twice on Joe Rogan, his show, and this time he's like, the Nazis lost. I go, Joe, I don't think the Nazis lost World War II. I think Germany did. I think this plays into...
Look at my first note. What is this? Can you read it?
I cannot. I have my glasses.
It's too small. Huh? Let me see.
No, it's not your fault.
Just a little higher. Just a little higher.
The Nazis didn't lose the war. The German military did. The Reich was not defeated.
They were the Bolsheviks of Germany. They were there to destroy from the inside. And this goes into, if you even go deeper, and we'll get into it, but you go deeper in the, that the Old Testament is like Edom versus the Lost Tribes. They wanted to cripple the territory that was going to lead the pagans versus lost tribes. So I'm into all this, dude.
Yeah, the weird thing is that the Zionists and the Nazis not only cooperated before the war and even during the concentration camps and all that, but they made a peace deal in the I have it in my notes, but I don't have too much of the Zionists in these notes, which means we're probably going to be good in terms of censorship. I could put in more of that, but I haven't.
You do you. Let's go. Where do we start?
Let's go. So I start with the thesis, okay? I'm going to just read some of the thesis. You just said they weren't defeated. You said that in the Joe Rogan show. I heard that one. Relocated. Now, Borman, this is all about Borman, okay? Forget about Hitler. We're going to cover everything about Hitler, but he's insignificant after World War II. It's the brown eminence who is the real essential top player. For those who doesn't know enough about him, there's tons of info out there. I've even had show about his, but he was a real psychopath. If you think Hitler was mad, at least Hitler had emotions, okay? He was completely derailed and deranged,
and tweaking his balls off.
Was that?
He was
tweaking.
Didn't have balls? No. He was a crystal meth freak.
Right. He was. Yeah. This guy was cold and calculating. This was a classical psychopath, not just a narcissist. Okay, a sociopath, if anything. Anyway, enough about him. So let me tell you this: with the remnants of the SS as an enforcement arm, former Gestapo chief Mueller as security director, leading scientists still loyal to him, in charge of NASA, leading spies infiltrating CIA, and spy master Galen in charge of Western intelligence reporting directly to him, leading oligarchs and bankers in his pocket, and controlling over 750 multinational corporations as a base of economic power, plus the willing silence and cooperation of Western allies. Borman guided his organization to a position of consummate power in the post-war era.
So
That's
crazy.
the thesis. And I'm going to prove it with point. And by the way, I have not put in sources. If people want sources, go to the books you saw in the beginnings, rewind the video, look up the books, because all of these books have tons of receipts. This is primary research. Okay, it's not just made in a day. These are serious scholars.
I love this, bro. Let's go, dude.
Yeah, let's go. So, the Borman organization uses basically South America as their base. There was, in fact, a plan in the 30s that German military attaché to Argentina, Gottfried Sandstede, that FDA's agent managed to get out of him. And FDA used it to get America into the war as a propaganda tool. And
FDR, is that what you're saying? FDR?
FDR, Roosevelt. He used this as a propaganda tool. He said, look, guys, Hitler wanted to make a Reich in South America. He wanted to make entire South America into a Reich. And we got to stop him. So this plan was actually even before the war. Now, the rest of the thesis says, and by the way, one international banker termed the Borman organization the world's most important accumulation of money and power under one control in all of history. With tentacles into every branch of Western society, with unlimited money, unlimited intelligence, and unlimited science, nothing could stop the rise of the covert Fourth Reich. Its new manifestation was not about goose-stepping in Hugo Boss uniforms. This is what people don't get, because they don't see the swastika and the crazy mustaches. They think it's over, right? None of the quaint old-school racism, but the perpetuation of fascist values, ideals, and culture through realpolitik, global power, can you spell the New World Order, and international banking. Now, after the war, so-called reformed Nazis and regretful sympathizers, all still loyal to Borman, were in charge of EU, UN, NATO, NASA, CAA, a Bank of International Settlements, the Bilderberg conferences, and other powerful institutions. Even in part, not always, but in part, government of West Germany, as well as half the dictatorships of South America.
Now, real quick before we move, Borman was what was he while Hitler was alive? What was he?
Bormann was the most hated Nazis or even the Nazis hated him. Why? Because Hitler was deranged and sick at the end. And when Rudolf Hess, he was the perfect apparatschik. Okay, he was a bureaucrat, über alles. The Democrats can only dream about getting to his level of bureaucratic. I don't mean
control
Democrats. I mean your current woke Inter. So he was first Rudolf Hess's next man.
Okay.
Then Rudolf Hess, and here's a full conspiracy. We could have a show just about Rudolf Hess. He was lured to England, Scotland. They took him, and then Bormann became number 2. Now what Bormann did was to isolate Hitler. Nobody can get to Hitler but through me.
Wow.
And Hitler, it's Hitler's own fault because he had arranged a system where there's no clear number 2. Everybody's vying for his. Everyone is fighting each other to impress Hitler. That way, Trump is using some of the same strategy. That way, there could be no clear threat against Hitler. Because everybody would keep each other in check. But Bormann managed to become that number 2. And then Goering, Himmler, Goebbels, everyone fell and was under Bormann and was afraid of Bormann. And Bormann is the one who made Hitler and Goering enemies. And so eventually, Bormann approved everything and he did everything and Hitler didn't even have control. Okay, now we're talking we're talking 44, 45.
Wow.
Okay? Yeah. So Hitler ended up, you're going to hear the fate of Hitler. It's very interesting. I want to say as a funny aside, here's where fiction and what did Warhol say? He said something about reality and fiction. But here's where it kind of conflates because, James Bond author Fleming? Yeah, he was directly involved in saving Bormann's life in something called Operation James Bond, which is where he got the name. He took that name and used it as a character in his James Bond stories, and because he was British intel and military veteran, and he modeled Spectre and Octopussy, those two bad guys networks that Bond always fights when he doesn't fight Russians. He modeled those after Odessa and Die Spinne, which are the two most important post-war Nazi organizations. Okay.
So can I ask you something? I looked up the Borman. What do you have it? The Borman organization, right?
Borman Group, Borman Brotherhood. It's not a clear name. It's not like a membership card. This is the name.
I looked up, and it said that Borman had set up Adolf Hitler's fund for German trade and industry. Is this the fund that the Western CEOs and bankers would basically become sugar daddies to Hitler?
Yeah. We're going to get to that when we enter the notes. These are just the thesis.
I'm too excited. Keep going.
No. It's cool. Anytime, stop me and we'll go off on tangents. But the Nazi loot is insane, bro.
Yeah.
You have no idea how much money they accumulated. There's a reason they launched the Marshall help, because everybody was poor, because all the money was gone. Not just money, gold, bullion, art. I mean, I saw the list. It's insane. They have, I hope I have it in my notes, but we're talking in 1945 money. So inflation and all that, but I think it's at least $1 trillion, which is unheard of back then. Yeah. Now $1 trillion is pocket money, right? But back then,
think about
it was insane. That's their starting position. They are basically launching the global corporatism that is ruling the world today. We're going to get to all this. I just want to complete the thesis. And the unserious Nazis were prosecuted in Nuremberg. kind of the Nazis you can kind of have some sympathy for, like this architect and Goering, who was really a war hero, and he wasn't that of an ardent anti-Semite. He was known for saying, I decide who's a Jew or not. So they took all those guys who weren't the most loyal to Hitler and Borman. Borman was even brought in, according to one scenario, behind a one-side window, a mirror window thing. And he was telling the interrogators what to say. He was watching as they was interrogating the Nazis they were taking. So he was fully cooperating, because he was all about Borman. He was not an ideologue.
So he was turning on the other Nazis.
Yes.
Damn,
they were
bro.
consulting him about the other Nazis. It was part of his deal to get scot-free. They underestimated Bormann, because I don't think they realized in the beginning that he could become a threat against them. But oh man, he did. You'll see. So some of the top Nazis that were this isn't even conspiracy. You can Google most of this. That got away: Josef Mengele, Adolf Eichmann, Heinrich Müller, Hans Kammler, Klaus Barbie, Werner von Braun, Franz Strangl, Kurt Waldheim, Erich Priebke, Otto Skorzeny, Reinhard Gehlen, Arthur Rudolph, Walter Rauff, Edward Wirtz, Karl Schwede, Kurt Debus, Walter Dornberger, Kurt Traub, Reimer and Walter Horten, that's the Horten brothers, Hans Globke, Hans von Gerstein, Adolf Hitler, and Martin Bormann. So these are the most famous Nazis who were part of the new Fourth Reich. But it was all about a personality cult. And here's the thing. Bormann didn't have that personality. If it was just him, nobody would. They would all secede immediately. So Bormann needed Hitler to survive. It was not about just himself surviving. He would be done for.
You know, that
If he
reminds
was
me
going to
of
run,
that reminds
What's that?
me of George Bush, Dick Cheney.
Yeah,
Right?
Dick Cheney could have never
Yeah.
been
Could
elected
never
to
have
any,
been
any
could never
national
gotten to the
office.
White
Yeah.
House. Hey guys, real quick, I want to tell you about our good friends at Wise Wolf Gold and Silver. That's right, Wise Wolf Gold and Silver. In a time of just money, literally backed by nothing, precious metals where you want to go, and there's no better place to go than Wise Wolf Gold and Silver and their Wolf Pack program. Their subscription service is amazing. Let me tell you about Wise Wolf Gold and Silver. If you're paying attention, you know the de-dollarization is real. Fiat is fake, and you don't want to be left holding the bag when the dollar collapses. Gold and silver have been money through all of recorded history and are an excellent way to protect yourself from inflation and geopolitical turmoil. That's why I trust my friends at Wise Wolf Gold and Silver for all precious metals, all things precious metals. I love it. I am part of the Wolf Pack. Every month I have precious metals sent right to my house, and I love it. See, Wise Wolf Gold and Silver is veteran owned and A+ rating by the Better Business Bureau. No transaction is too big or too small. You can even roll over your 401k or IRA into physical gold and silver. And if you think you can't afford precious metals, think again. With the Wolfpack monthly membership program, you can get gold and silver delivered directly to your door for as little as $50 a month. As little as $50 a month, you can have precious metals. You start loading it up, man. By the end of the year, you'll have a good chunk of precious metals. Dude, it's crazy. You just go to SamTripoli.gold. You can see all the different plans they have. Man, it's like $50. Lone Wolf, Warrior Wolf, $125. Alpha Wolf is $250. And it just keeps going up. Sent to your house. Right there. It's that simple. It's that simple. Easy peasy. Get in, get out, get your gold, get your silver. I love it. I'm doing it. Dude, I'm telling you. All of these affiliates I use, and I use Wise Wolf Gold and Silver. I use it all the time. It's real simple. So if you want to get in, this is how you do it. Wise Wolf Gold and Silver also deals in and accepts Bitcoin. So here's what I need you to do. Okay, go to SamTripoli.gold, promo code tinfoil at checkout to receive free constitutional silver. That's right. And remember, in a world of bulls and bears, be the wolf. Guys, we're having a population problem. Nobody's saucing. It's time to get back to drop the sauce. And there's no better people out there to help you drop that sauce than our good friends at Blue Chew. American bonus. American bonus for whoever wants some, okay? Come and get it. And there's no better company than this great American company than Blue Chew. Let me tell you about Blue Chew. That's right. Get the siren sounding for making love, and that is Blue Chew. Listen, you got to get rock hard for the future, and the only way we can do that is Blue Chew. Blue Chew is an online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but for a fraction of the cost. The process is simple. Sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their online medical providers, and once you're approved, you will get your prescription within days. Blue Chew tablets are made in the USA, and prepared and shipped directly to your door. The best part, it's all done online. That means no visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, no waiting in line at the pharmacy. Cannot stand that. Thank you, Blue Chew. You take them anytime, day or night, so you can plan ahead or be ready whenever the opportunity arises, okay? Blue Chew is for Americans. Blue Chew wants to make men rock hard. They told me, that's our mission. That's the mission, okay? They will not stop until every man is bricked up like a brick shit house, okay? Till every tent is pitched. Till every rod is raised. Discover your options at BlueChew.com. And with this we got a special deal for our listeners. This is how special you guys are and your junk is, okay? We love your junk here on Tinfoil Hat. We love how rock hard you get with Blue Chew, so we're going to do something special for you, okay? This is a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew free when you use the promo code Tinfoil at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's BlueChew.com. Promo code Tinfoil to receive your first month free. BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. We thank Blue Chew for saving humanity and sponsoring this show.
Cheney needs Bush to survive, okay?
Yeah.
And the only difference is Bush is a moron. Hitler was more crazy than a moron.
Is the reverse true? I mean. Did Hitler need Borman as well, would you say?
No.
Okay.
Hitler didn't even know that Borman was... had he known... I think he knew at the end. But he trusted Borman. He needed, he was defeated. He wasn't used to losing power and all this. So Borman always seemed to be in control of things. So he thought he needed Borman. And he did at times. And if it was Hitler himself, he wouldn't even arrange to get out of the bunker in time, okay? Sure. This was all Borman. So he needed Hitler to survive so that he could use Hitler as a puppet for everybody to rally around after the war. And have the nostalgia, because even though Borman wasn't an ideologue, what kept them together was the crazy philosophy, right? And they needed Hitler to survive for that. So I'm sure he looked at Hitler as a bother, but after the war, in Germany, he had to kind of cater to Hitler's whims, right? Even how crazy he was. He was very smart in how to deal with that. But after the war, he could just isolate Hitler. He practically put Hitler in a closet and isolated him more and more and more as his health got worse. Who else that's like?
Elvis and Colonel
Parker, Tom Parker. Yeah.
That seems to be the exact same kind of relationship. That, we talked about on our other show, the Elvis effect, which you said was the Hitler effect. Yeah. They both had this guy.
It all comes together.
Yeah. Well, they just had this guy behind them that was really the brains of the operation.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Are you saying that Borman was the brains of the operation? No, I'm not. Or
oh yeah,
you are. Okay, all right.
Entirely. Hitler was not. Hitler was out of the picture already in.
Well, you're talking about after the war at that point, though, right?
What's that?
Well, you're saying after the war, right? He was the brains of the
Especially after the war, he was the brain.
Okay.
I mean, he wasn't the brain of the war, but that was lost. They knew it was lost in 1943, right. Even though they kept the propaganda up. They needed time to relocate the Reich. They went morons. It's not like the Russians were outside the bunker and oh my God, what happened? No. Of course they knew what was going on.
Yeah, because
the generals tried to tell them every fucking day.
So is that propaganda? Those final films we see of Hitler where he's shaking and awarding the Hitler
I think Hitler was crazy enough to think he could pull it off. But Borman knew what was going on. Everybody knew what was going on in the leadership, except Hitler. Hitler was delusional. Anyway, so an interesting aside at the end of my thesis before we go to the real meat here. As late as 2012, Eva Braun was in an Argentinian retirement home.
What?
Yeah.
What?
So we could. That's two years before I started my podcasting. Maybe she was alive even then, which is why stuff is still happening. People are still being threatened by Gestapo. Like in 16, a primary researcher, I won't name names, got a phone. Be careful, they said. So the power base is still active.
Wait, so you're telling me the Gestapo still exists? Is that now?
Well, I mean, the top. I mean, they put up a mock version in South America, right? So and the top Gestapo leader Mueller. Yes, he was Borman's very important in the Fourth Reich.
Now, is Mueller any relation to the Mueller report? Mueller. In America?
Who knows, man?
Because Canada is just
related.
full of Nazi descendants. Yeah. Like Trudeau's right-hand woman is a direct. It's so funny she's calling everybody Nazis when her own grandmother was working hand in hand with the Nazis. It's so
The funny
crazy.
thing is Trudeau obviously is the son of Fidel Castro.
Yeah.
And I saw this conspiracy theory. There was this senator you had. He was a Democrat. What was his name? Chris something? They said he was the son of Stalin. Because he looked like Stalin. And I suppose there was some ties too in the
Well, what
past.
about the German chancellor that they said forever was Hitler's daughter?
Nah. I don't believe that.
Okay,
Yeah, Merkel.
interesting.
No,
Merkel.
I mean, who the fuck knows? Because he had two daughters.
Knows?
But if it's proven that she was born and raised in Germany, she's not the daughter. At least she will have to be an illegitimate daughter. He had two legitimate daughters.
Well,
with Eva
these
Braun.
guys drop sauce everywhere, so who knows?
No, but you see, one ball Hitler. He wasn't that much of a
One
Casanova.
ball Hitler.
Borman, though, was a real stud. He was screwing women left and right. He ditched his. See, he didn't even take his wife and family with him out of Germany as Hitler did. He had new lovers all the time. At least 5 I've counted.
Chicks
Those
love
are not
bad
in the
boys.
notes because they're not important. But he had illegitimate children left and right all over South America.
So let me ask you something. So you are saying right here to us on the show, you have the receipts that Hitler died in Latin America.
Yeah, well, not me, but the receipts exist. Yeah,
I knew it. Too.
Tons of evidence for it. And like I said, go to my essential reading. Those people provide evidence after evidence after evidence.
All right. That's
So and some of
crazy,
it we're going to touch in the notes. The end of my thesis just says that of the 50,000 war criminals who fled to Argentina, 50 fucking thousand.
50,000?
And there were and there was already not just Argentina, South America, but there was already tons of Germans spread, right? Only 2 was extradited. Gerhard Bonne, who was responsible for massacring 62,000 Germans, who's old, sick, disabled, demented. And the other one, what was his name?
Fran Stiegel?
So you don't think? I'm sorry.
Strangel, yeah.
So you don't think the
commander
Eichmann,
of a concentration camp.
You don't think the Eichmann operation?
But we'll get to
happened?
that.
Okay.
He wasn't extradited. He was abducted.
Yeah.
But we get to that. He was the last. They threw him to the wolves. The Nazis were a part of that. I'll get to that.
Please,
so this is conspiracy upon conspiracy, man.
Love it.
But it's old school conspiracy. It's not flat Earth conspiracy. This is like agent stuff. like we were Generation X people were growing up with. It used to be the order of the day back in the Cold War, right? Now everything is kooky and conspiracy. It was realpolitik back then. Now, the countries that the Fourth Reich existed in, you could say during the Cold War, we were just counting the Western allies and the Eastern Bloc. Nobody was counting the Third Bloc existing all the time. And the most important countries in that Third Bloc who could operate with impunity under the radar was Suriname, Argentina, Chile, Paraguay, Uruguay, Bolivia, Ecuador, Colombia, Brazil, Syria, Indonesia, Taiwan, and Egypt. Those were the most important Nazi countries.
Wow, bro. That
now
is
we begin.
so crazy. Now we begin. Let's go, bro.
So, FDR, whatever you think of him, he was a real clog in the machine for these guys. You know, there was a business plot to take him out. Maybe Dark Journalist mentioned it.
Yep.
Now,
what was
those
it?
people who were behind that.
Guy. War is a racket guy. Who said that?
Yeah. But Smedley Butler.
Yep.
Thanks to him, you had a real guy in charge. Now, what DJ may not have mentioned is that those who were behind were all Nazi-friendly, Western. Because the West, both England and America, the power elite was divided into two. One who was applauding Hitler, covertly or overtly. One who was against him. Now, incidentally, in both England and America, the anti-Hitler faction won. Hence World War II. But it wasn't for the lack of trying, because you can see here some of the open sympathizers, Henry Ford, Rockefeller, Dulles brothers, Prescott Bush, Joseph Kennedy Sr.
Yep.
Now, this is important because these people, I believe, and I don't have the receipt for that, but there's so much pointing to it. And people speculated it even back then. I believe these people managed to kill FDR at the end. We'll get to that.
Bro, I've heard this story too. Okay, go on. This is great.
Yeah. So I'm not the only one, but I haven't found any good researcher to have on in my series about this. So I'm left clutching at straws.
I
now,
had a conspiracy
that
for
was
you.
33.
I got a conspiracy for you that nobody's ever heard of, because it was told to a friend of mine by a very old man who had very, very close connections to military people. That basically FDR. Okay, well, when we get to the FDR stuff, I'll tell you.
Okay. Just stop me then. So Canaris bought huge parcels of land in Patagonia in 36. It's as if they were planning it. This is because they wanted a base in South America, even before the war started. Then we know that Peenemünde Army Research Center was founded in 37. That's where they were looking at Victor Schauberger's flying engine, his UFO, Horton Brothers flying wing craft, Arthur Sachs AS-6 experimental singular winged aircraft, anti-gravity research. They did this officially from 37, but they were looking into alchemy and all sorts of weird stuff already in the 20s and the 30s. This is why Himmler was sending people left and right to Tibet and pyramids and everything, right?
Yeah, dude.
They were the first people who were taking occultism seriously, not because they were spiritual and true believers, but because they realized, oh my God, we can actually extract this into our practical material world, use it as weapons, use it as control mechanisms, consciousness.
You think everybody thinks I'm crazy. I'm using the wrong word, but alchemy is what they're using. I've been saying we're fighting sorcery. That's what they've been working on.
Black magic.
Dude, everybody thinks I'm crazy, but I'm telling you, that's what we're up against.
Well, I guess the name of your show is aptly named. So, and let's move on here. So in 38, it's known that there was this Nazi expedition to Antarctica. But did you know that they were advised by Admiral Byrd, the Nazis?
What?
Yes, because he was experienced there. They went. So before the Nazis sent their expedition to, remember the war hadn't started. So in 38.
Hold on. But isn't the story that he
That's later. That's later. What you're going to say. This is before. So in 38, the Nazis find out, maybe they found out we want bases there. Maybe we want to extend our Reich to. So we need experts to advise us before we go down there. And they contact Admiral Byrd. Okay? And he's going to be essential later. So, and he gives them what they need, and it's a success, and then the project goes black. Okay? So the last thing we hear is, medals are given, and then nothing more. That's in 38. So they have some time now to put up stuff if you want to go with the Antarctica route. You don't have to. South America is sufficient, but it's in the play. Then we have Rudolf Hess in 41. Of course, the war breaks out in 40. Mysterious flight to Scotland, meets with Churchill, ending in capture. There's a huge conspiracy there, but we don't have time for that. Now Borman becomes...
It's one of the most bizarre events that is accepted by all historians. Just the basic facts that historians accept as facts are bizarre about that. I can't imagine what the conspiracy is, and we'll have to have you back to talk about it.
Yeah, please come back.
It is just fascinating.
Among other things, it involves his double.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Come on.
His double died in when was it? In 2000 something. It wasn't Hess.
What? They didn't arrest Hess.
Was that his double who was in like prison there for a while that did all the interviews and stuff, do you think? Or was that actually Hess? After
no, Hess did well, you know, it's so complicated. Okay. It's like there's different theses there, different analysis. There's even many different doubles. But many think that if you see the weird behavior in the Nuremberg trials,
very strange,
from Goering, laughing when Hess speaks. He was asking him weird questions as if he knew it wasn't Hess. But it's a sidetrack. We shouldn't even go there, man.
Okay.
So Borman becomes deputy Führer in 41. Now in 42, even before the war turns, Borman meets with industrialists, European industrialists, takes over all European corporations, moves headquarters and sets up 750 offshore corporations, starting to exporting loot and valuables, preparing for a loss. This is in 42, man. And it's what's in 43 that the wind was changing, I guess because they knew Hitler was crazy, or just because these guys aren't playing Russian roulette, okay? They are having plan B, C, D, and F. So, of course, we know Prescott Bush was tight with Thyssen. Thyssen was basically supporting Hitler, sponsoring the Nazi party. Krupp, Thyssen. So they were always a corporate sponsored project. Although Hitler was a true believer. And he was a rabid dog that turned on them. So I'm not saying that Hitler was a corporatist, although he did use corporations to his benefit. Unlike the Soviets who attacked corporations immediately and just became one big corporation. Now, there's going to be some complicated stuff in South America, which is very important for the story. For example, there's tons of coups. These coups aren't just random. Sometimes the coups are Nazi-sponsored. Sometimes they are CIA-sponsored. Sometimes they are... Well, we'll get to that. So there's a coup in 43. And the Peron is important. Do you guys know about Juan Peron?
Yes.
Domingo, yeah.
But so tell us.
XG can know. His wife was this Eva. Don't cry for me, Argentina. Madonna played her in a movie. I guess Eva Peron.
I think that's her name. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's he was a flamboyant character, Nazi-friendly, and they had bought land there, so he was cooperating with them, and he took control in 43. And let's go to the next note. In Germany, Borman and Hitler plans backdoors to South America in general and Argentina in particular. Now it's getting serious for them. In the wake of the Stalingrad debacle, many Nazi leaders quietly begin evacuating liquid capital and other resources to neutral safe havens outside the Reich. They meet with Perón, have meetings, and then Hitler orders Operation Fireland. So he was in on Plan B. Make no mistakes. He thought he could survive this ordeal, but he was in on it. So Operation Fireland, meaning of the county Tierra del Fuego in Argentina, that's where Bariloche is the capital of Germans in Argentina and the Nazi capital in the Fourth Reich. And it's chosen as headquarters after Canary back in the 30s, Nazified it during the 30s. So Tierra del Fuego is the area in Patagonia, and it literally means fireland, and this is Operation Fireland. Let's relocate the Reich. So it was actually an op to relocate the Reich.
So
it wasn't just
Operation
scrambling
Fireland,
desperately.
Operation
What's that?
Fireland is to move to set up a base for the Nazis in Latin America.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they already had done that. Now it was about actually transferring the base. They started that in 43. Because it's too late in 45 to send down people, technology, money, all that stuff. Then it's a long process. The loot was incredible. So yeah, Operation Fireland is starting. So, like I said, it's not just desperate scrambling, it's actually a strategic relocation over time.
And would you say a lot of that was through planes? Because I heard a lot of it was through submarines. A lot of that moving of the gold and all that stuff.
Yeah, no, both. They had this huge plane. I forgot the name of it because I'm not. So many in this field are like fetishists on technical details about U-boats and airplanes and uniforms and tanks, and I don't know all these names. Okay, I don't care about that. But there is this plane that could, I think it could go around the world without tanking.
Was it the giant, the Messerschmitt giant? Was that it? The Messerschmitt.
Maybe
giant?
a huge transportation plane. They had those, and then they had the new super subs. Japan was one of the producers of those, who also could go around the world with cargo. So you're right, but remember in 43, I don't know when they lost. They had hegemony, the Germans did, in space and in water at different points in the war. So I don't know when that changed. But at any rate, in Hans Kammler, very important, he got in charge of the high-level Nazi military engineering operations on various Wunderwaffe, that's secret weapons project, that Hitler all the way, that was kind of why Hitler was desperately not letting go, because he knew we have these insane weapons. Can you guys just hurry the fuck up and get them out there so we can use them? It was, look, if Hitler had 6 more months, we would be speaking German today.
Really?
And is it the nuke?
Half
or are we
of us
talking
wouldn't
about
even
other
be
things?
here.
Is it the nuke or is it something else? What are we talking about?
Oh, it's both. We'll get to that.
Okay.
Oh,
and the nuke
snap.
thing is proven. The nuke thing isn't even even the people working on your what's it called? These labs you have
Project?
around. Everybody knows in the know in America today about the nukes, but you can still discuss, with debunkers about the anti-gravity things and the bell. We're going to get to deglocke the bell.
Oh boy.
Anyway, in 44, founding of Odessa, the network. Through them, eventually 50,000 war criminals and at least 10,000 elite SS resettles in South America. Okay, that's not insignificant. That's enough to invade. It's a practical invasion, although everybody there were welcoming them. Then there's the bomb plot. Hitler survives, of course. Now, in the Baltic Sea, Germany tests a nuclear bomb in the Baltic Sea, near the island Rügen. And Britain is put on high alert for a German bomb attack. Poland, they test a large liquid air bomb probably a nuclear bomb because of the enormous 12 kilometers flattens. Is more than a regular weapon. Borman orchestrates at the Hotel Maison Rouge, meeting with the blessings of Adolf Hitler to create a vast system of dummy and front corporations to evacuate liquid assets. See, here's where modern corporatism begins. They set up, mother corporation, cartels, right? So even today, it's practically impossible to know who owns what. We know, of course, BlackRock and State Street and Vanguard, and these are huge players. But the structure of corporatism is almost impossible to unravel, and it's invented by Borman, basically.
So you're saying layers upon layers. So
Yeah.
like no one can ever. There's plausible deniability. A great example is everything with this Burmese and the Bidens, where like they had so many dummy corporations, it took forever for anyone to figure out that led from here to here. And this is basically created by the Nazis.
Yeah, the idea is created. But I would say that the Biden is small player. The problem is we won't even know if there's ever one person owning everything. It's going to be hard to know the way the structure is, but be that as it may, let's move on. And what he also does is that he says to all the European leaders, look, man, if you're going to continue being CEO and stuff like that, you have to be a Nazi. So he Nazifies everything so that after World War II, he has loyal dummies in charge of everything. 45. Czechoslovakia. And now 45 is a busy year, okay? So let's start with Czechoslovakia. The Bell Project, its documentation, the Bell itself, the Junkers 390, are last seen in Prague in April and go completely missing afterwards. Do you guys know about the Bell, or should I explain that?
Is that?
Oh my God, man. Oh my God. That's the biggest Nazi conspiracy thing and nobody has told you about it. Okay. It's going to take a show, but basically it's proven that they were experimenting with anti-gravity.
It's the UFO thing, the anti-gravity.
Kind of, but it's not like a spacecraft. It's a time machine more than anything.
Oh, no, I haven't heard that it was a time machine.
What, you think they had...
Operation Kronos.
Operation what?
Kronos, the god of time.
Oh my God! That's
Yes.
the name of it?
Yes.
Oh
I told you.
my God! Dude, this is insane.
Yes, and the technology is known. It has to do with double rotation, okay? Torsion physics. Torsion physics is suppressed. It was well known in the 30s. After the war, you guys just need to know that after the war, science was dumbed down. Everything went black because they knew it was too dangerous. So that's why we don't have anti-gravity, free energy, all this stuff, because, vibration science, which if you read books and publications from the 30s, you're going to get so enlightened about these things because it wasn't controlled back then. It wasn't centralized. Now, Die Glocke, was the main thing. It was levitating, but it was so rudimentary. They didn't have time to complete it.
Can I just tell you something real quick? So
Yeah.
I hate to cut you off. People are like, shut up,
No,
let
no.
him talk. So do you guys remember when Kanye West went on Joe Rogan and he talked about how Disney created Black Panther so people couldn't find out about the real Black Panther?
Yeah.
So I put in Operation Kronos into Google, which is a mistake. I'm trying to pay attention while also doing some of my own.
It may be called Project Kronos. I'm not sure, but anyway, what did you find?
Operation Kronos, guess what comes up? A bunch of Disney shit.
Really?
Yeah, all this
bizarre.
the
Incredibles. It's
the
all
Incredibles.
If you
crazy is
search
that?
for Die
Look,
Glocke
awesome.
or the Nazi Bell, you're going to get a million hits, man.
Die Glocke. That
Yeah.
bell
That's
comes
the
up
actually,
first,
it's the Die Glocke. That's what it is, the Die Glocke. But you hear Sam is right. You type in Operation Kronos and just the Incredibles Wikipedia comes up.
Right?
Okay, I'll have to look into that myself. I didn't know that.
They do
Interesting.
that. Dude,
With
Disney does that.
Frozen, same thing. They don't want you to look at Walt Disney supposedly froze his body. So you
Oh,
type in
that's so
Frozen.
crazy. And then you get into like the what's the thing with the eyes? The
Illuminati.
what is the little yellow thing?
Minions.
The
The
minions,
Minions.
right? And you go back now, there were Nazis put kids in those outfits, dude. It's so creepy.
But fun fact about Disney, he was a Mason. So and there was a battle in Nazi for control over Nazi. And there was two factions. One was the Nazis, the other was the Masons.
What's the NASA?
What NASA is? It's your space agency.
Oh, NASA. Oh, shit.
NASA, sorry.
Holy shit. The Freemasons wanted to take over NASA.
Yeah. There was a battle between Masons and Nazis, and I think the Nazis won.
Yeah, I do too, dude.
So all this is on the record. This isn't someone dreaming up in their mother's basement. There's receipts for all this stuff. You just have to, if you want to dig it. So you have to take everything I present at face value, and then you have to go dig for all the details. Okay, I'll given you sources. Okay, let's move on. So the project, the bell goes missing. Okay, more important than the bell itself is the bell scientists, because these are the creme de la creme. You don't want to give a bell and some project papers and back engineer this, right? You want the guys who actually developed it. So there's a desperate war to get hold of these bell scientists. We'll get to that. But I can already say now that Ronald Richter goes to Argentina. So, and Kamler too, the general in charge of this stuff. Now, here's an interesting conspiracy for you. You know General Patton?
Yes.
He's the one entering the Skoda works where the bell is. And his people are uncovering these huge secret weapons installations that the Allies almost knew nothing about. So he's deep into this black project and making him one of the few in the Allied command structure with a comprehensive picture of this project. And then he immediately dies under mysterious circumstances.
Fascinating.
Coincidence.
Yeah, because there's a war at the Allies side. Here's what people need to understand. FDR was anti-Nazi, but he wasn't alone in the power. It's like Trump now is going to have a lot of hostiles in his administration.
So crazy, dude. Hey guys, real quick, I want to tell you about our good friends at Arena Club. Listen, collectibles is where it's at, and there's no better collectibles than sports cards, and there's no better place to get it than Arena Clubs and their slab packs, okay? Let me tell you about Arena Club. Listen, if you love collecting cards, this is the best place you can go to do it. For most of us that like to collect cards, the idea of spending $2,000 or more on a Luka or a Mahomes rookie card just isn't in the cards. I love collecting, always have since I was a kid, but that's some serious money to drop. Thanks to slab packs from arenaclub.com, now it's possible to score gem mints for a fraction of the retail price. Every card that I listed was hit from Arena Club slab pack drop. Arena Club is the only repacked that proves real value, a complete view of all possible cards, and a clear hit rate for each one. Johnny, what have you been doing on Arena Club?
Well, yeah, as soon as I found out that we were working with Arena Club, I was stoked because I'd heard about it for a while. And what they're saying is absolutely true. Their slab packs, they drop them twice a week, and they're fantastic. Literally, the first time I got a slab pack, it was this Mike Trout, only 5 in existence. It was a PSA 10 red, worth like $1,000, and it was $100 slab pack. And I've gotten several other hits like that since then. I have my whole collection on there. If you want to come find me, I'm at Johnny Woodard on that thing. I think Johnny Woodard is the name of the showroom. Come check it out. Since then, I've added a ton of cards. I love it. You can keep track of them all there. If you want to bring them home to you, it's really easy to request they be delivered to your house. I've sent cards in for grading. It's a wonderful service. Big fan of Arena Club. And like I was saying, Arena Club slab packs are revolutionizing the repack game with transparency. After your pulls are revealed, they're immediately placed in your showroom for safekeeping, selling, trading, or even to put up for auction. That's a new thing. The Arena Club grading process is accurate, fast, and transparent with a full grade rationale provided, an explanation of how your card was scored. Whether you're buying, selling, trading, or displaying, Arena Club is the card collecting platform you gotta check out.
So here's what we need you to do. Right now, you can get 10% off your first slab pack or card purchase by going to arenaclub.com/tinfoil. That's ARENA club.com/tinfoil for 10% off your purchase. Enjoy it. What he's doing, Trump, is he's listening to people who have alternative motives, because the guy just can't micromanage every moment of everything, right?
Exactly.
So they're
Neither
like, oh
could
yeah, you should
FDR,
get
right?
Von Schwarz as in charge of this, and that. And everyone's like, Von Schwarz was like anti-Trump and wanted to, you know what I'm saying?
You gotta watch out for him. Watch I'm worried about him.
Yeah, I am too, dude.
So FDR was in the same situation. So then the people who tried to take him out, Dulles, one of them, could have been behind finishing off Patton, because Patton was loyal to FDR. So Patton and FDR was on the same side, the anti-Nazi side. But they were scrambling now because the Nazis lost. That means, hey, they could come for us next, right? We need to do something. So the power net, the Nazi-friendly, I call them the Wall Street fascists. That's those in America, and I call the City of London fascists in England. Both those were scrambling when the Nazis fell, and did everything they could to take over their own governments. And I would venture they succeeded. So you have fascist ideologists. Otherwise, they would wage war against Argentina, and they would come for Hitler and Borman. But they didn't. They struck deals instead. So we'll get to that. Germany, France. Let's see here. Dönitz surrender. Yeah, here's an interesting thing. Dönitz surrender unconditionally. Okay? But there's unlike every surrender ceremony, you know, there's a ceremony. At least it used to be in the old days when one part lost in the war. It's just like in the Roman time where they present the sword, right? Yeah. That kind of ceremony. Now, there was a proper ceremony for Japan where all the power institutions
on the boat, right? Yeah.
Were represented. But in Germany's case, there was no representative of the Nazi party, nor of Bormann's party chancellery itself.
Yeah, because Dönitz was from the Navy, right?
Was that?
Dönitz was from the Navy, right? He came from the Navy.
Yeah, Dönitz came from, he was appointed the successor of Hitler.
Right, but he was an admiral, right?
Just a face, just a mask, right? So there was nothing for him to be a successor of, because everything was crumbling. But officially, he was the one who so he went to Nuremberg.
Right.
And he was military. So yeah, the military surrenders, but not the Nazis. Borman was at this point on U-boat 234 bound for Spain. Now, FDR dies suddenly on April 12th. Let
me give you my info. And I should have my buddy on. My buddy Seth, he's in my chat of all my friends from high school. And one day, so he was like a great swimmer, and something happened with his lungs, so he couldn't coach anymore. So he had to pick up a new gig. So he was dealing with like helping people with paneling on their houses or something like that. So he go visit these old guys, and he meets this old guy. And this old black man, and this old black man was working on a Navy ship, and the Navy and the Navy ship had all the heads of the Navy on it, and he would be there basically. He would basically take care of them when they came to dinner. He was, I wouldn't say he's a waiter, but his job was to get them their food, get them their drinks, and
so he was eavesdropping, huh?
No, but they knew he heard everything. So these Navy guys are like, we have one or two options. We can either kill this guy or we can absorb him into us. And basically, according to this guy, he was the first head of the National Guard. They basically made a new department for this guy. But he overheard some stuff, and he was telling my friend Seth, and I should get Seth on some premium content to tell the story, that he said that FDR actually died in a submarine crash heading over to Europe, and that's why after he dies right after basically the Allies sign an agreement, and they are like, oh, we won the war, that you never see FDR with his dog who was always with him, and that the other guy was basically a stand-in, and he goes there and he signs the deal, and they have the whole picture and all that stuff, and then after that, they act like FDR suddenly died. And that wasn't actually... FDR died in a submarine accident. And that's why you never saw him with his dog after that. Because the dog died on the submarine as well.
That's a rabbit hole right there. But the problem with these things is that there's so much disinformation, deliberately seeded disinfo to put us off track, right? It's like 9/11. It's easy to know what didn't happen. Okay, we can all agree about that.
Yeah, I agree.
But then we're gonna, when we start unraveling what did happen, we've got options, right? And some of those options are poisoned. I'm not saying this about this theory, but I'm saying it's so normal in this field, which is why we have to be careful. That's why there's a lot of stuff I haven't included, not just because I haven't had time for it, but also because I deliberately don't include it. Especially
I would just
the
say
Nazi
to that,
UFO thing.
I would just say to that it would have to be the deepest operation for this old man.
That's a pretty good point.
To tell this guy that somehow at some point I start a podcast, and then they're like, "You're gonna tell him this. This guy's gonna start a podcast, and then he's gonna tell the study."
No, what I mean is that
later.
they themselves could have been seeded bullshit.
Yeah, so that's the William Cooper.
But even if, because the only thing I think about when you say that is, why do they need to do it like that? Why did they need a double? Why couldn't they just finish him off? Which is what I agree that he was finished off, though.
Yeah, and you're not wrong there, because I mean, it wasn't much longer after that Truman was openly the president. Just a matter of months, right?
But you continuance of government, maybe? Like, you just need him to get to sign that thing to end this war, and then you just bring in the next guy.
Right. No, yeah, that we agree about. They needed FDR gone for several reasons. Number one, he was an anti-Nazi, so he would never accept stuff like Operation Paperclip, and he would never accept to let Borman and Hitler alone in South America. He would never accept the people who tried to kill him.
He was anti-Israel as well. He wasn't pro-Israel at all. He didn't like what they were doing, and he actually wanted to negotiate with the Arab countries. And
now, with the risk of getting this show censored, ironically, a lot of Zionist and Nazi interests were aligned. They were not ideological partners, because although they have the same ideology, only they are completely opposite, right? No, I'm the chosen people. No, I'm the chosen people. No, you're the undermensch. No, you're the goyim. But they had aligned interests practically in real politics. So you'll see that several places. So, yeah, they had to take down FDR. So, because, look, man, those who tried to kill him are now scrambling to take over the deep state in America. The deep state practically, not that there wasn't a deep state before, but a real deep state is after World War II. Everything changes after World War II. The world isn't the same. There was freedom before that. So, yeah, FDR had to go. Then, let's see the next, which note should I go to next? Here's an interesting thing, how Borman escaped. There's several escape scenarios, but the most likely one in my mind is that Borman arranges for a tidy division of Nazi Germany's rocket and nuclear spoils. Because, okay, the war is over, we have to divide our best people between Western and Eastern blocks. We can't give everything to one block, because then we can't... See, it's all about divide and rule, right? So what they do is that some of the brilliant science goes to America, Project Paperclip, some goes to Soviet. Of course, America gets the best. No, actually, the best of the best goes to Argentina, then America, then Soviet. So, but in these negotiations he does with the Allies, he demands favors. I'm not going to send you a nuclear... See, he sends them the nuclear weapons project, but he doesn't send them the bell. He keeps the good stuff for himself. But he sends them, and for the Americans to get the nuclear stuff, you think he's going to do that without getting anything in return? And here's what everybody agrees he gets in return. The cargo U-boat U-234 arrives in America with a load of 1,200 pounds enriched uranium, 235, infrared proximity fuses, their blueprints, and their inventor himself, Dr. Heinz Schlicke, working from now on in America, still loyal to Borman. This altogether provides atomic ability and completes the Manhattan Project. The Manhattan Project was completed with the help of German stuff. And the price for this is letting Borman, Mueller, and or Kammler be smuggled from Spain. From Germany to Spain because there was an unaccounted detour with free passage. See, when they said, look, this U-boat is going to have all the good stuff you want. We're going to send it to you. It's in Norway right now, where I am. But we're going to send it all the way from there down to the east coast of USA. So you cannot bomb it. You're going to know at all times where it is, okay? Of course, the Allies says, send it. And then, as it comes from Norway, instead of going straight to America, it goes to Germany. And we think to pick up Borman, Mueller, and Kammler, then to Spain, letting them off, and the logs are erased in that.
Oh, that's so crazy.
Part. And then it continues to America. And when the Brits and others see, hey, there's this U-boat here, let it alone, leave it alone. Because at this point, the Allies had complete control over the sea, okay? So this U-boat is let alone and is allowed. So he's hijacking, piggybacking on this. It's a conspiracy within a conspiracy, if you see what I mean. That's the best way for them to get out. You understand? And when they come to Spain, it's a matter of logistics to get. Franco is ruling Spain. It's a fascist, Nazi-friendly country. And then they go to Argentina. And the nuclear stuff goes to America. But the Bell scientist goes missing. Kramer, Adler, and one more, I should have put in the name here. 3 essential Bell scientists goes missing. We don't know where they go. They could have been abducted by the Soviets. They did not go to America. The other is that they knew, oh my God, we're in trouble. If I was a Bell scientist, remember, many of these Bell scientists weren't Nazis. They were just forced into it because they were geniuses. They knew what they were doing. So if I was one of them, I would have changed identity and gone under the radar, gone black, right? Because I knew everybody would come for me. The Soviets, the Americans, the Argentinians. So they go missing. They may have ended up in Black Project in Antarctica or in Argentina, though. We don't know. We know some of the Bell scientists went to Argentina, like Ronald Richter. Then begins Paperclip that you know about Paperclip, guys, right?
Mm-hmm. Of course, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, good. Otherwise, I would just be out of here. Okay, so 6,000 individuals, including scientists, engineers, technicians, are brought to. Many of them, like Debus, Rudolf, Obert, Knemeyer, and of course von Braun, becomes leaders in America.
I love
in
how
NASA.
you're editing as you go.
And, they don't trust them immediately, right? So in 45, when it's NASA with a C, until NASA is officially founded, they are put in camps. Not concentration camps, but they are free to leave and stuff, but quarters, close to Mexico, actually. And they hoist a Nazi flag there. There's a picture of them. The elite NASA paperclip scientists with beer, and it's a leisure time thing. And they have a Nazi flag hoisted, okay? In America. These are the people you are putting in charge of stuff.
No, and what's crazy is in those camps, they had American soldiers taking care of the Nazis top notch. Like you're over here, like, and the American soldiers knows who they are, and they're over there catering and bringing them stuff, and it's like crazy.
Serving them, treating them just like it's insane.
So nuts, dude.
So much for the end of the Reich. Huh? Now, then there's some people going to Russia. You can read it in this note here. We don't have to mention it. Now we come to Hitler on July 28. See, Hitler they would never allow to get out of there. So Hitler, they needed a different plot. That plot isn't outlined here, but it's pretty. It could be a thriller movie actually. The whole thing of how Hitler got out of there. It's well documented now.
Yeah, good luck
anyway,
making that in Hollywood, right? So, what
yeah,
is
it should
your
be
pitch?
a Hollywood
Hitler
total
escaping
blockbuster.
to Argentina. Hear me out.
Boys from Brazil.
Yeah, but just the drama of getting, you know, the movie that everybody has a spoof with Hitler in the bunker and all that stuff. They should make a movie like that, The Last Days of Hitler, only how he escaped, because it's even more thrilling than that suicide movie. It involves this woman hero, airplane captain who, you know, they bombed. It's a long story, but it's very interesting. They almost managed to kill Hitler. Not that they know they're killing Hitler, but everything is it's a rain of bombs, right? How the hell are we going to get him out of here? Borman was securing himself in a different way, right? He had ally protection. Hitler wouldn't get it. But anyway, Hitler, Eva Braun, and even the dog Blondie arrives by submarine U-518, we know it, which one, in Necochea after a 33-day journey from the Canary Island. They are then transported by plane to San Carlos de Bariloche, that's the city in Patagonia, in Argentina, which is becoming the Nazi. To this day, there are grandsons and even sons and daughters of Nazis there. Blonde people, German. They speak German. They don't even speak Spanish.
Come on, dude. That is, like, look at her. She is the most German-looking Brazilian I've ever seen in my life. Ghislaine Bunchen, Tom Brady's ex-wife.
Bunchen.
I have no idea.
Yeah, she's a model.
She's a Victoria's Secret model. She was, like, the hottest human being on the planet for a short time there. She was, like, crushing it, and... yeah, dude. It's so crazy, dude.
Giselle.
I have to say, for the sake of balance here, that there were Germans living in South America before the Nazis came. So not all of them are. If you see a German in South America who's a local, not necessarily a Nazi. Chances are 50-50, right? Or I mean, related to Nazis. Who knows the new generations, what they believe. So he goes there, and then on Estancia San Ramon, in September, their 6-year-old daughter Ursula, nicknamed Ushi, also arrives. And Eva was then pregnant again, and by the end of the year, by the end of 45, she gives birth to another daughter. So they had 2 daughters that we know of.
Hitler had 2 daughters.
Hitler kept that stuff from the Germans because he's on record even admitting that a leader should not show any details about his family and private life. They will stop believing in me. You know, he wanted to be worshipped like the ancient Roman emperors, like a god. So he couldn't have, if it had been Borman, he would not talk about it because he wanted the girls to think he was single, right? But for Hitler, it was not that. It was not about that. It was about being this pure, untouchable
and give it up for Hitler boning while, like, the world's crashing down on him. Could you guys get hard when you know everybody wants you dead?
Always.
Okay. All right. Respect.
They said it was impotent. Maybe it was injection, the semen injection was, because he probably wanted children. Probably wanted a son. So who knows if it was via sex. Remember, Eva Braun eventually, we'll get to that, but Eva Braun eventually divorces him.
Imagine that. I'm done.
He dies in a pitiful state, man. But we'll get to that. I want to say this jawbone and skull fragment that all the debunkers are proudly trumping up as, look, he died in the bunker, right? A sole basis for his suicide theory, it was proven in 2009 to belong to a young woman. Aww. So they don't have any physical evidence anymore, those who who say, and all the big players of the time claimed Hitler survived. That includes Stalin, Franco, JFK, Patton, Fleming, de Gaulle, Charles de Gaulle, Simon Wiesenthal, the Nazi hunter, Lord Mountbatten, James Forrestal. I believe Dark Journalist told you about Forrestal. He was involved in a lot of stuff. And Otto Skorzeny. So everybody knew. In America in 45, JFK writes in his diaries that he is convinced Hitler escaped. Now, what do you think is the first thing he does when he becomes a president? Don't you think he looks into it?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, and this becomes significant because I told you part of this story is about the JFK assassination. Well, I guess a spoiler is that the Nazis was behind it.
There we go, which is what the Dark Journalist was talking about.
Yeah, because there was a covert war between the Nazis and the anti-Nazis. See, when JFK took power, the FDR faction got the upper hand again. Because JFK, although he was of Nazi stock, you know, his father, Joseph, but he and his brother had a complete change of heart. They experienced stuff in their upbringing that made them for the people. So we'll get to that. But you know a weird thing? Remember when Donald Trump released just part of the JFK files?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep.
Don't you believe it? There was a erratic filing in that, in one of the files, where an article and an image of the Hitler survival report was inserted into portions of the JFK files. What the fuck is that doing there? It was a CIA or FBI report about Hitler surviving the war with that image and everything. It made all the rounds among the people I'm interviewing for these things. Isn't that weird?
That is weird.
That is weird, yeah.
Erratic filing, yeah. If anything, you know, it could be a joke from Cosmos, right? Synchronicity. But I think it's someone in the deep state, in the know, tongue in cheek, maybe back in 45 or whenever, who, no, not in 45, I mean in the 60s, tongue in cheek, who put it in there as a sign, or maybe a cry for help, because I'm sure not everyone in the deep state were supporting the assassination, right? So someone filed the Hitler surviving thing in the assassination JFK files. Okay.
And if I'm not mistaken, that document dated to like the mid-50s too. This wasn't just like in the immediate aftermath of the war. This was something they were tracking down as late as the 50s. Like, so.
Oh yeah. There was reports in the 50s and the 60s about it.
I think specifically the one that was accidentally inserted was from the mid-50s, which is
okay. Yeah, you may be right. That's the hot spot time of when these things were going on. Okay, so 46, Perón takes over. 200 German scientists relocate, including Bell scientists, Ronald Richter and Kurt Tank, and also the Horten brothers, who made jet planes, spy planes. So all these start working for Perón now. But who they're really working for, of course, is Borman. Perón is just flamboyant mask. Operation High Jump. Here we get to this stuff, Sam. USA Antarctica. Operation High Jump under Admiral Byrd in August. Task force including 4,700 men, 13 ships, 33 airplanes. Byrd publicly states the operation is military by nature. Okay? And we'll be looking for bases in Antarctica. This is what he said before he went, according to the local reports we have from that time. So this cover story that it was an exercise is something that comes after. So what the hell were they doing it's 1 year after the war, not even 1 year. And we know there's like, you know, this proverbial Japanese who don't know the war is over. He comes out of the bushes in an island. Yeah. I would venture something similar in Antarctica because unlike today, it was even more isolated back then. Now, we know Borman is briefly in Argentina, probably to help Hitler to the luxurious Grand Hotel Vienne in Miramar, Cordoba province in 46, as the hotel also had its own hospital and spa. Because the assassination attempt in 44 against Hitler resulted in a splinter of oak hitting his body and head, some of which required surgery and were painful for the rest of his life. Another important thing, the Gehlen org is founded. This is when spy master General Reinhard Gehlen, practically the top spy man in the Reich, he makes a deal with Dulles of OSS, precursor to CIA. And that deal makes Gehlen and all his agents top operators. Because Dulles is thinking like this: Soviet is the real enemy. If anything, I'm sympathetic to the Nazis. And here we have thousands of spies, German spies, the best spies in the world, all over the world, including in Russia. Why the fuck would we crack down this stuff? Let's take it over. So it's just like Operation Paperclip, only for the spies. So he says to Gehlen, go ahead, man, you're our man. We don't even have to send Americans out there now. We have people. So the Gehlen org becomes the only post-war intel network penetrating both Eastern and Western blocs and their security services. So now Gehlen is loyal to Borman. So now Borman controls the intel floating both in the Soviet Union and in America. How's that for a divide and conquer?
So crazy, dude.
47. Early end of Operation High Jump in February. Human and material losses. Byrd gives press statement in Chile on their way home, describing future enemy aircraft with, unprecedented abilities. Now, no conventional air crime could do this, so people think it's an allusion to anti-gravity that he witnessed. Henceforth, the failed mission is officially claimed to be scientific and not military by nature, and Byrd gets a permanent muzzle. Muzzle. I don't know how you pronounce that.
Muzzle, yep.
Yeah. Mum's the word. Now, incidentally, 47 is just as busy as 45. 46 is kind of a intermediate period, but we know all the UFO crashes starting. Kenneth Arnold spots flying wings. Description of AG discs matches the German World War II flying wing model of the Hortons. That's the one of the most famous. Then in Maury Island, another famous crash in June. And if things aren't weird enough as it is, the usual suspects behind the JFK assassination, those plotters, and known crypto-Nazis are involved in the investigation of Maury Island.
Is that
crash.
code for Jews?
No. You know those who plotted the JFK, the usual suspects, the names that always come up there, and crypto-Nazis.
What is a crypto?
It just means
Nazi?
secret. Just crypto means secret.
Okay,
Yeah, it means
secret.
it means Nazis under the radar.
Okay.
You know, in the Western, like
Gotcha.
Dulles was a crypto-Nazi.
Okay.
Or at least a crypto-fascist. So Nazi people are involved, and JFK assassination people are involved in investigating a UFO crash. What's going on? What's up with that? Then you have the Roswell crash right after that. What's up with all these crashes, right?
What's up with that?
Yeah, according to the Magic 12 documents, resident Nazi paperclip scientists are brought in to investigate the Roswell thing. The internal evidence argues that the recovered tech, while exotic, was not exotic enough to be extraterrestrial. The tech descriptions point clearly to similar developments in Nazi Germany. And that explains the panic. Because if something Nazi is able to enter American airspace on its most sensitive military installations with impunity, just 2 years after the war, it means someone somewhere is continuing independent development of Nazi projects.
Whoa,
Okay? That is more alarming than an alien. Because it means that the Nazis are still out there, and it means they are ahead of us.
Whoa.
And the interesting thing about the Roswell thing, you can read about it in Joseph Farrell. Dr. Farrell is one of my main sources. In his book, Roswell and the Reich, you can read about the Nazi connection. And he argues that there's two stories coming out. The first story, after the crash, the first story is It's aliens. The second story is nothing to see here.
Hot
Swamp
air
gas.
balloons,
Move
yeah,
on.
hot air
Right?
balloon. It was like some balloon stuff.
Yeah.
The second one, yeah.
The classical debunker.
Yeah.
So they serve one. They throw one piece of meat to those who want, because they know half the population won't believe us whatever we say. So let's throw them something they can run with, the alien agenda. Then we throw the world is boring, everything is simple, nothing to see here. Now we have divided two disinfo stories out there people can latch on to. Okay, that's 100% of the population. While in the middle, the truth is, it wasn't extraterrestrial, but it was something. It was the goddamn Nazis. That's kind of how the thinking goes. And this kind of debunking strategy has been proven to be used again and again and again. You introduce two artificial poles, and then you cover for the truth in the middle. Just the fact that we had a Soviet bloc and an Allied bloc during World War II with a third covert block in the middle is kind of a reflection of that same kind of strategy, if you see what I mean. So you will, when you're onto that way of thinking, that way of operating in the deep state, then you will start to see it everywhere, and it's very clever.
Okay, well,
That's
So what we're talking about here is this the meeting that Klaus Schwab's dad has with Washington, where suddenly like alien ships kind of show up over it?
you know, that one I don't know about. That one I need to work into my notes.
Okay, all right.
okay, but
Thanks.
But here, so you're saying that the
Truman, yeah.
You're saying the Roswell crash was Nazis, right?
That's the most likely, yeah.
So do you?
I'm thinking all these crashes, I'm thinking the Flying Wings are Nazi, the Maury Island is Nazi. And why? Because if there's a war in Antarctica, or just not in Antarctica, but South America too, a covert intel war, now it's a war about, it's not like an open war where we send soldiers, but they are obviously taking down Admiral Byrd and his stuff with this kind of tech. And now they are, maybe as a warning, maybe the Nazis are worried, what the fuck are the Americans up to? Let's probe their secret installations. Or it's just like, how dare you? We had a deal. See what we can do. There's many explanations for what's going on here, but most likely Nazi crafts, yeah. We don't have to go to Nazis to the moon, right? We don't even have to go to Nazis in Antarctica. We can stay with Bariloche if you want to be a realist. But if you want to entertain, we know the world is crazy. So I would at least include Antarctica in this scenario because it aligns with Byrd and Forrestal and so much other weird stuff happening. And by the way, guys, let me give you another example of how they can use this false dichotomy. Aliens, nothing to see here, and Nazis are the real thing. I'll give you another example of how that works. Let's say, for the sake of argument, that the world is hollow. Okay? I'm not saying it is. Let's just entertain the hypothesis.
All right, I'm in.
Now,
I'm
wouldn't it be brilliant that at the one hand they claim, no, the world is round. Yes, it's round, but it's not hollow. And in the other hand, they say, no, it's flat. Okay? Then you distract for all those who don't believe the standard model. And nobody's looking at the hollow earth. You understand?
Yeah, of course. That's fascinating.
That's how it works.
Oh, okay. But here's a question.
Smoke screens.
You're saying the Roswell crash was the Nazis. Would you say every UFO encounter or every UFO vision? So
No.
you do believe in aliens in a weird way?
Aliens as in not anyone from our civilization on Earth, yes. It doesn't mean I believe in little green man from Mars. It could be time travelers, interdimensional. It could be the breakaway civilization from antiquity. We have a series about that too, who mastered, the so-called Anunnaki. It could be Nazis. But today, I would say 90% of them are deep state projects. Including American, mostly American.
There's just this predator class that is just manipulated.
I mean, and if you remember, UFOs started popping up after World War II.
During.
Like crazy. During, after, you're right. During and after, people started seeing them there. So, I mean, it could be some Nazi technology at the end of the day.
Most likely. But what I don't buy into is I mean that's the standard. I mean they got the bell. We'll get to that. But what I don't believe is that the Nazis back engineered a UFO crash. I think that's disinformation.
Oh, so you don't think they ran into a UFO and they did because they claim that they reverse
The reason I
engineered
don't
it as
believe
well.
that is, first of all, those who started those rumors were not neo-Nazis. They already were tainted, the information sources. Second of all, you don't need it because you have a provenance to explain a natural developing technology in the 30s and the 20s, naturally leading to the Glocke and other stuff, time manipulation, anti-gravity manipulation. And most of that technology is German, or European at least. Also Jews. So I'm not saying it's Aryan or something, but Hungarians, Germans, Austrians, Jewish, some Americans. So we know, Joseph Farrell, again, is a name I would flaunt there. He's done great research into this. So there's a physics tradition that if it is allowed to just unfold naturally, it ends up in this technology. So we don't need aliens for that. Am I saying there are no aliens out there? No. I think the nuclear explosions that started is also connected to this. Tons of UFOs after nuclear, right? So that's also interesting. But I'll just say the greatest change that ever happened in the world is not the internet era, it's not anything else than 45 after the war. Everything changes in society.
That's so crazy.
Yeah. And the world gets worse, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Now, let's move on. We have so much to cover. How are we on time, guys?
We're at an hour and 25 minutes.
Fuck. How much time have we left? There's so much juice to get to here.
Get to the 1948. Get to that. We'll get that, and then we'll have you back to do another one, right? I mean,
Yeah, okay, we can continue. Yeah, okay.
I'm not afraid.
If we live to see the day, right?
If we live
Okay.
to see
God
the
will.
day.
Truman signs the National Security Act, and and they create CIA. We think it's a reply to all these crashes, all this tech that is going on, because Truman wasn't on or he was duped. He was a dupe or whatever you say. So yes, he had people like Dulles under him. That was our fifth column, but he himself was sincere. So when they can't avoid keeping it from him. So when all this crazy stuff happens, on the failed Antarctica mission, the crashes, the reports about Borman and Hitler, Truman signs the NSA Act, which creates CIA, and later we're going to get to that later. But when let's see here, when he founds NSA.
Tel Aviv. I saw you talking about yeah. Go on.
When he founds NSA, that's a national security agency. It's a direct translation of Himmler's Reichssicherheitshauptamt, which also means Central Intelligence Agency.
Whoa.
No, I mean National Security Agency. So,
Wow.
yeah. Anyway, so that's weird, right?
So
I think it's Nazi from the outset because they infiltrate CIA, NSA, all these things. It's the first thing they do. So where were we? Do you remember? Yeah, here.
He was Hitler.
CIA.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now they also U.S. Air Force established is established. So established U.S. Air Force. Why do they do it 2 years after the war? What's the point? So I think the Air Force is also I think all these new things they are launching now is a reply to this airspace war that's going on now. They're vying for dominion not in outer space, but in inner space. Simultaneously, a development plant is set up in Cordoba with Bell scientists like Kurt Tank. So now Perron or Borman is... I think what happened here is that Borman says to Perron, look, man, because he has to bribe Peron. Peron got trillions, not trillions, billions. Argentina got billions during the time the Reich was there, because they were dependent on his protection. So they said, look, man, we're going to give you a plant for Argentina that you openly can use, okay? But just keep quiet about it. We're going to use some of our technology for that. You'll see why that is important later. Borman helps Hitler move with the two daughters to the mansion on the ranch Estancia in Nalco, north of Bariloche. So this is where he mainly lives after the war. The first years were relatively pleasant for Adolf, both as a family man and as the grey eminence in Bariloche. The old school Nazis at this point still has an optimistic faith in the Fourth Reich. So at this point, the Nazis are still Nazis in a classical sense. And Hitler still meets people, just the creme de la creme, and they still have to go through Bormann. But he's still propping up Hitler from time to time, showing him off, just to secure loyalty to him.
So wait up,
okay?
he's in Argentina, still walking around. He hasn't shaved his mustache?
I don't believe he needed to, because in the area where he lived, it was, first of all, still today, Argentina is a world far away from us, okay? It's like South America is its own hemisphere. And it's the lingo problem too, the Spanish thing. But back then, it could have been on the moon, okay? Argentina was like, even though they were very European in many ways, in culture and everything, in terms of communications, etc. So, yes, there were sightings, there were reports, but just so made it. And if it made it to the West, it made it to FBI and CIA and stuff like that. So, yeah, he was pretty safe. I don't know if he shaved his mustache. I've seen some pictures where he has it on still. He's very vain. I don't think he would accept it, actually. He would rather go down keeping his mustache. I don't know. He was in love with that. So, yeah, I think he had his mustache. But whatever he did there, he was living openly in this huge mansion. You can see it in the Hunting Hitler series where they visit that mansion. It's by a lake. It's very idyllic. So by now, if you hate the Nazis and what they did, you should be pretty angry because he's living the life. But I can reconcile you with the fact that it goes down from there. He ends up, he dies in a very sorry state. Anyway, so now they found the stay-behind networks. You know, we're going to get to that later, Operation Gladio, which are behind most of the terror in Europe in the 70s, blamed on anarchists or communists or stuff like that. But it's basically Nazi people in these stay-behind networks. Then Israel is founded in 48. Ben-Gurion declares it. Bormann officially moves to Argentina in 48. Arrives on the steamship Giovanni C. from Italy, dressed in a Jesuit habit, disembarked with a Vatican passport, calling himself Pastor Juan Gomez. He was greeted by several, officially received by Peron's people. He got permanent residence and a passport under the name Eliezer Goldstein, which is I don't know if that's Jewish. It could be German too, but it would be funny if it was Jewish, right? It would be like mocking. But the alias Bormann mostly used in South America was Ricardo Bauer. Hitler needs another treatment in Cordoba. He's sick. And FBI gains reports of Bormann's survival. And President Truman authorizes Hoover to start investigating. But this is weird, because in 47, the National Security Act gave foreign intelligence operations to the jurisdiction of the CIA. So why give this to FBI? If Truman suspected that CIA was compromised by Nazis, the choice of using old school Hoover and FBI makes perfect sense. Right?
Interesting.
You following?
Yes.
Yeah.
I do.
You want me to continue or?
Well, what do you guys want to do? Do you guys want to bring on a second, do another day?
We definitely need to have him back like immediately, I would say. because there's just so much.
Just because we have another.
I don't even think he's probably halfway. Yeah, he's
another interview about to start.
I think I am halfway actually.
So that that would, if he is halfway, that would be the perfect time.
Okay, so we're gonna stop it
Almost
here.
halfway,
I know
I think.
everyone's yelling. This is where we're stopping. We're gonna do episode 2. We're gonna set it up. I don't know. I'll figure out a time either very soon. Or we'll move some stuff around with Mark, and we'll get you back in for part 2 of this insanely amazing episode. This is my favorite. I love this stuff.
You were right again.
You know why? Because I'm right again. They all doubted me.
You knew it intuitively. You knew it. Huh?
I do. Johnny doesn't think I'm psychic. I'm psychic. I play it out, bro. In my head, it plays out in my head.
It's called intuition. That's not psychic.
Well,
that's the thing, Sam. Well, I've seen you here and there. I with Jimmy Dore, with Rogan, and I've seen you rant about this. But then they start asking you critical questions, and your back is up on the wall. And I was thinking, oh, I was screaming at the screen, right? So that's why I told Mark, fuck it. I could discuss anything with you guys, right? I was planning on discussing Bitcoins.
This
and
is
then
my
I said,
thing
fuck
because
that, man. We have to go the Nazi. I have to give him some meat.
No, you
So
did.
he can throw it at the face of Rogan or whoever else.
Would you ever send me these notes? Would you send me these
You
notes?
can totally get a copy of my notes,
Oh,
yeah.
dude, I am so
You were
giddy.
thinking of talking about what? What did you say you were thinking of speaking about?
Oh, just as big as a thing. It has to do with our immediate. There's a war going on, and Bitcoin is involved, and it's huge, man. That's another show.
Is Bitcoin on the side of good or evil?
Yeah, Bitcoin is the only reason we still haven't CBCDs.
Okay.
You know what that is, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Social.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Social credit score.
So it's a war going on right now, and the fact that Trump won. You know, Trump, last time he was running, he was against crypto and Bitcoin. But then he was starting to copy JFK. JFK is going to the libertarians, he's going to the crypto conferences. I'll do the same. Oh, he's going to podcasts. I'm going to do the same. Good on him, right? And now and then he started to praise Bitcoins too. And basically giving the same speech as RFK. And RFK is on board. So I totally believe he's going to... I'm so optimistic now. I was pessimistic before the election. Yeah.
Good.
Big stuff going on. But this is another show, man. I
Yeah,
can't go
yeah,
into
yeah.
details about it. No.
All right. We're in. We are in. So let's, one more time, tell them where they can find you.
If you want me to hear me interview people who goes into more details, I'm just scratching the surface with the boys here. If you want to really get some juice, check out my Nazi series. It's called Timeline of a Breakaway Civilization. And you will find most episodes at my website, forumborealis.net. If you contribute $1 a month, you'll get access to a lot of stuff. Then you'll find the second most stuff in all podcast platforms. Doesn't matter which one, Spotify, whatever. And then the third place with the least shows are YouTube, just because I've been boycotting YouTube for 2 years now. But I'm probably gonna, when they start cracking down on the censorship in YouTube, things will, there you go. Things will, see, look at this Hess thing, go down there. You asked about Hess. That's episode further down. There.
There he is. Yeah.
There he is.
Boy, look at those eyes.
Dude, 41,000.
That's the first episode of 3 episodes about the Hess mess enigma.
And you got the numbers. You got 41,000 views on that. That's nice. Yeah.
Yeah, that's after it's stifled. You know, I grew in 2015. My show grew from 0 to
I get it,
35,000
dude. I'm the same way, man.
in a year, right? And then they stifled me, and I needed 8 more years to get to 50,000. So I just gave up on YouTube.
Yep.
And I know,
I'm with you.
didn't they take you down entirely?
Well, they threatened to, so we pulled all the conspiracy off, and now we allow a fan to upload it, so it's plausible deniability because we don't have anything to do with it, right? So Johnny, here's the crazy thing: Johnny is a hero too many.
We don't know that yet. But
Johnny is a hero, and he went in and he had a big fight with them at YouTube, and they've kind of let me dance.
we'll
Now,
see. I hope so.
A little bit, because they were stifling us at like 15,000. So they let my special get up to 84,000, which is like my jam.
Well, what I told them, I said, okay, so I listed all the shows you just went on. I talked about how our numbers had gone up in every other platform, and then I showed them we have 300 new subscribers, and their quote that you see in the back end of YouTube about the same as usual. And I said, does that make sense to you?
Nope.
You know, because he just went on Rogan
How
the
did
same
you
day
even
as
get
Donald
their
Trump.
air? Don't you have to be like million followers to?
I badgered YouTube on their support team on Twitter, and then they gave me an email, and then I started hammering them relentlessly until they escalated it to a manager on. I mean, I've had probably 30 email exchanges with these animals, but yeah, they're
Wow.
yeah, and some of them I can tell are automated. I'm dealing with an AI, and then you have to just kind of fight because they'll send you
That's
the same text over and over again, and then finally I got to a human, I think. So anyway, they
How do I
deny
stop
having done it.
screen sharing, guys?
You stopped.
You're good,
Yeah,
you're
you're
good.
full
Oh, I
screen
did.
now. Yeah, you're good.
Because I'm seeing double. I'm seeing myself.
Well,
in
you're gonna
two. I
see
don't
you're gonna
you.
see what the listeners and the viewers are seeing. So now
Oh,
you're seeing
okay.
Sam because he's on screen now. And
So
There you go.
this has been amazing. All your links below. Thank you so much for all of this. This has been great, and let's break this episode down. Come on, let's go. Okay, man, all-time banger. Who's in, who's out? All-time banger.
Absolutely.
All-time banger.
All-time banger?
Absolutely.
Dude.
Yes.
Johnny, am I psychic? Answer yes. Am I psychic?
100%.
No.
Yeah, there we go. 2 out of 3 people on the show think I'm psychic.
well, one of them is you though. So that
Okay,
doesn't count.
that doesn't matter. By the way, let's power rank the show. Sam, Xavier Guerrero, and in the last, Johnny Woodard. Guys, what do you think of the episode?
When are we gonna? Well, when I get citizenship, can we go to Argentina?
Oh,
Can
yeah,
we go
dude.
visit Argentina? Can we go
do they
fucking?
speak Spanish down there, or do they
Yes.
speak Argentinians?
It's Español.
Okay, dude, we're
So
in.
I can guide us. I
Let's
guide us
go.
around. I can ask for Hitler. ¿Dónde está Hitler?
Yeah, well, Señor
¿Dónde están
Hitler.
los Nazis? I'll get us there. I'll
Yeah,
get us there.
I
I'll
will.
guide
I
us
love
there.
that. I love that. I love that. Johnny, are you in?
Argentina, of course.
We're going to Argentina. We're hunting down baddies, and we're hunting down Hitlers. Okay, we're gonna go check it out.
I'm down.
Guys. I told you this all the time. The Nazis didn't lose World War II. Germany did, and here we are. We have the receipts. All-time banger. You know, I mean, I thought it was great, dude. I mean, what more can we say that we didn't say during the show?
Well, one interesting thing I saw was that the document that he discussed that was accidentally included in the JFK dump was said that Hitler was in Colombia, which I thought was kind of interesting.
Dude, have you seen Colombian chicks? I'd be there too, dude.
Yeah, you're damn right, buddy.
That is as fat as us.
Can you imagine Hitler just slaying puss in Colombia?
Oh
after the
yeah,
war?
dude.
I mean,
Oh yeah.
They do got the good coke. You know, Hitler would be wanting the good coke.
Oh, dude, Hitler would never do coke because he's already hooked on tweak. So he's like,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is
He's
garbage.
not going back to kindergarten.
Yeah, he's not going backwards, dude. He's not going backwards at all. But that, yeah, dude, I thought it was an all-time banger. There's not much to say to break down. It's just I've been telling you guys, tinfoil hat walks so you can run. Dude, listen to the show now to know what the news is in 6 months. I've been telling you guys this. This is all part of a plan, and I actually believe Hitler was a part of the plan to destroy Edom, or however you pronounce it, from the Old Testament. They're destroying Germany so it can't lead the pagans in the war with the lost tribes. I'm telling you this right now.
Hey, we said there's not much to talk about. I think this Thanksgiving is going to be a lot of our conspiracies homies days where they look at their family and they're like, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Who's
Yeah.
president? Thank you. It's just like, look at that. Like this Christmas, you might take a lot of W's where people are just looking at you and you'll be like,
Well, people are always like, Sam, you're levitating. Your career is killing it. I'm just going on my friend's show, who all know I'm right now. That's it. I'm right.
Sweet vindication.
I mean, what more one more way of telling you're right when you go on right before Trump.
Yeah, that's how safe I am now.
I'll save you.
I mean, come on. Who would've
I
thought?
mean, dude, it's just so like nobody includes me in that run, but I kicked that run off.
You were the same day as him.
I kicked the run off of what is probably the greatest podcast run of all time.
Yes, and they put you out, and then people lost their minds. Like, where the fuck is Trump? And then you caused Donald Trump to go out probably before they even wanted to.
Yeah. They're like, Tripoli's causing too much chaos. He's getting too close. There we go.
We gotta cover him up with Trump.
All-time banger.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Could he make a run for Mount Everest?
Absolutely.
On the next episode, if he really brings the heat?
I don't even. Yeah, he could not even. He could kind of halfway bring the heat on the next.
Oh,
episode.
so he's up for it.
Yeah.
So what I was thinking, guys, then we'll get into everything. Is for the end of the year, you should all go through every episode that we did. You don't have to listen. Just
Yeah, I'll
look at the
listen to every
titles
episode.
and decide who's your top 5 of 2024.
I'm gonna listen to all of them again.
You're gonna listen to every episode.
Obviously not.
Okay. All right.
In Johnny's defense, he does speed it up. I've seen how he listens to podcasts. He
Yeah, I
speeds them
get it.
motherfuckers
I
up. You
get
have
it.
to, yeah.
Yeah. So we should go up.
Well, I've already listened to all of them twice.
He's
so,
in
yeah.
it, dude. He's in the top 5 for me. And just because you're not in the top 5, if you were on the episode, doesn't mean you weren't a great episode.
Don't kill yourself. It's
Yeah,
okay.
don't.
We have a lot of great shows.
And you know, I've made a decision. I should have talked to you guys about it. If you were on the Mount Everest, the Mount Crushmore, before, you're still on there. Nobody's coming off.
I think we just have a Mount Crushmore 2020. 2020.
Well, I mean, but when we get to 1,000, we're gonna do who is the Mount Crushmore of the second 500.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah,
So
there you go.
we have this giant mountain, and we're just gonna constantly be adding new faces.
Well, I don't think the Mount Crushmore of the 500 stays that.
Yeah,
No, we don't
no.
need to add to that.
No.
That's just a separate Mount Crushmore, right?
You stay on it, even if you get voted into the second one. You don't.
Yeah.
You're
the
not.
mountain is not getting bigger.
No,
It's just
no.
a different mountain this time.
Or it's just a mountain that's so big that we're just slowly working on it. You know what I'm saying?
It's like the Hall of Fame. They don't, the bus. They just keep adding them.
Yeah, but here's the thing: if you made Mount Crushmore the first time, you're not going to be in the second time.
You're not allowed.
You're not allowed. You're already on Mount Crushmore. So this will be of the people that aren't on the first Mount Crushmore. Who's on the second
So
Mount?
it is like the Hall of Fame then.
It is in a weird way. Guys, if you go to SamTripoli.com, you can get my dates. Okay, I'm going to be in Tampa. I'm going to be in
Cancun.
Cancun. I'm going to be a white belt at a jiu-jitsu tournament. Batavia. I'm going to be in Columbus. I'm going to be in Pottstown. I'm going to be in Morristown, New Jersey, Phoenix, Arizona, and it looks like we're going to be in Baltimore, and we're going to be in Austin if everything goes according to plan. Okay, so that's that. SamTripoli.com. Get all my dates. Get all my T-shirts. The new T-shirts out there. Get all the new T-shirts. Premium content's fire, guys. I'm just telling you. This is where we do the deep dives. This is where you get the real shit. This is great. Really good shit. I'm doing deep conspiracy reruns. Johnny Cash reads the Bible. Dangerous. I'm interviewing people, man. I'm getting all of it. If you're looking for investment, passive income, Cash Daddies is the place to go. That's right. Patreon.com/Cash Daddies. Howie Dewey's an idiot savant, heavy on the idiot, and he will show you. Johnny, would you say, Johnny, that he hits way more than he misses? Would you say?
Absolutely, I would say that.
Yeah,
yes,
dude,
yes.
you're gonna leave it. He was talking, dude. He beat most of the portfolios that are the professional portfolios if you study how much money people made on the show. And we're almost at 200 episodes. We're 2 away, which is crazy.
That's crazy. Wow.
Isn't that crazy? 200
Yeah.
episodes.
Didn't think
So
about
go to the Patreon and do that. Go down my dates. The Chaos Twins. This is my baby. Check it out. I'm just telling you, dude. This is for the children. This is for your kids, my kids. And I'm so excited about this. It's fun. It helps teach children about what's really going on in the world in a fun way that parents don't have to worry about what's in it. Okay? Let's go back. So just join that right now. Get episode 2. T-shirts. Tinfoil hat T-shirts. I'm going to be adding all the T-shirts from that my buddy Ruben's done. So that's it. Podcast Bros. Look at that. I'm going to add all of them. We're going to be nothing but bangers there. All the greats. right there, tinfoil@t-shirts.com. And then let's get gold and silver, get into that. Rife Technologies, do it while you can. Alcure Hydrogen Brown Gas. Harley Raid. You got to get my supplements at Chemical Free Body. And then we're just going to jump down to EMF Rocks and then Brain Supreme. And again, if you want to see my special, it's for free at SamTripoli.com. YouTube, Twitter, and Rumble. See the episode, see the special that everyone's saying is one of the best they've ever seen. Howie Dewey was like, dude, that's the best shit I've ever seen you do. So I'm thankful. XG has been cutting it up. We've been getting a lot of love on it. So thank you guys. Anything for you guys? Anything?
Hit that like button. And Be Real just came on. We Don't Smoke the Same. It was huge for us. So go check it out, please.
We have a new Broken Sim about to drop with Van Neistat from YouTube fame, The Spirited Man. Check it out.
Spirited Man. Enjoy these highlights.
Here's a clip from the latest Broken Sim.
Guys, are you serious right now? Are you serious right now?
Are you serious? It's a Godzilla toy. Of course, I'm serious.
Are you serious?
Who would lie about that?
Which one is that one? Is there Generations?
This is the one where he took on King Kong.
The new one though.
No, not the newest one. I think.
But I mean, like, it's not like the old days.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool, dude. So we went to Sam Kennison's grave,
It's
and
on
he
your
had
Instagram, right?
and it said the coolest
Yeah.
quote, and I'm gonna get tattooed. And Dave's like, "Do not get that tattooed." I go, Dana, you have no say in what I put on my body. Why do you think you have a say?
Okay, I honestly was wondering what it was because you said Sam Kinnison's tombstone. Found my new tattoo. I was like, you're not getting Sam Kinnison's face on you, right?
No. What I am gonna get is I'm gonna get in another time and place. He would be called a prophet. I just gotta figure out where I'm putting it.
There you guys are.
Do you know Kat, who comes to our show?
Yeah.
She's got black hair. She always comes with her Mexican friend. She's a tattoo artist. I may go and get her to tattoo it because I feel like chicks can do the writing better than the guys.
Yeah, you're probably right about that.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you go over one, okay. Yeah.
Burl Kinnison. Boy, that's a great middle name.
Burl, dude. If I had a son, I would throw Burl in there for sure.
Burl.
And this is it. In another time and place, he would have been called a prophet. I love that. And apparently your whole thing is to throw change on his thing.
What font? What are you thinking?
I don't know, dude. I'd have to see different
You
ones.
should try to just do that perfectly.
Why? That's not a fun font.
No, but I mean...
And where would I put it like that?
Oh, yeah, you couldn't spread it out like that.
I'm thinking about it right here on my leg. Because I want to put all my animals in on one leg.
Oh, the zoo is going to be one leg. And
All
then the other.
all my dogs that I've had over the years on one
Oh, really?
leg.
Oh, that's cool, dude.
Yeah, my body is basically a memorial to dead people. I have so many dead people tats on me that I'm going to do it. So that's it.
I like that, though.
So the final thing I want to talk about is that I am losing my bet with Johnny. I am gaining weight. I actually
You're
weighed
gaining
myself.
weight.
I gained 1 pound.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and it's not my fault. I can't stop eating McDonald's. And the reason I'm eating McDonald's is because the chick at the drive-thru has the fattest cans I've ever seen. They are just bazookas, bro. And I'm like, maybe today's the day I save her. Today's the day I get her out of this minimum wage job and let her live her dreams of being an OnlyFans model, dude.
She could be vice president someday. Who knows?
The big bazookas, dude. And you're like, man, what kind of expectations do you have when you're working minimum wage at a drive-thru, dude? That's got to be the best case scenario right there. Anything's up from there, right? You just don't hit her. She's good. She's a happy person. Fat can Sam. That's what I'm looking for. Come on, hang out. I like Dana, get out of the car. Fat can Mexican at the drive-thru. In the car. These are my kids. Help me raise them.
There is something to that. Seeing a girl at a beautiful woman at a drive-thru.
Yeah.
I've seen that.
And you're like, why are you here?
Yeah.
Sam's been with me. It's even worse when it's in like a random ass state where like, oh, I can bring you to Cali and I can change your life.
Yeah. You
I
could
don't
be-
know, but it gets worse if you come to California because then you're competing with the
other
smoke
hot
shows of
chicks.
smoke shows.
Yeah. You in your little town, you are important. You are a celebrity.
Well, we would have thought something went horribly wrong, obviously, because you're working the Hardee's drive-through. But
Yeah, well, because that's just normal to them. That's the best. When you meet a hot chick who's normal.
Yeah.
Listen,
But doesn't part of you think maybe
You
she
know
didn't
what's a
play her
hot-
cards right if she's in like?
Well, that's like chicks when you see hot chicks riding the bus. You're like, okay,
Yeah.
you're a little stubborn.
Yeah, something's
you're just
wrong.
being stubborn.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you're a hot chick and your life sucks, it's directly related to the decisions you've made.
Totally.
Right?
That's what
the
I mean. yeah.
universe opens up to you. You could be illiterate from a trailer park. If you look hot in shorts, you have a shot. You have a shot.
You obviously haven't crafted your dating profile properly.
Yeah, you just got to get the right sauce, and you're set for the rest of your life. Physical beauty is the quickest move way up the economic scale. It's like if you're a hot chick who's retarded, you can meet a guy who's done something with his life.
Totally. Yeah, girl don't know how to take a selfie though. We got to teach her.
No. You want to turn men on? Don't have a Instagram face.
Oh, dude. And,
Right?
dude,
Will you ever do that with a girl? I knew a chick that like you would talk to her and she would just talk to you in her Instagram face. I go, what are you doing right now?
Like she has an Instagram face.
You do have an Instagram
So
face.
do you, though.
I do not.
Yeah, you like to.
I have a wacky face for when I take pictures with fans so they remember it and it's funny. That's what I do.
That's what I do.
No. You do.
Well, no. He goes.
What is your face?
All right, this is the end of the intro, guys.
What are you thinking? What are your thoughts when you're doing that face? Like, what is the motivation behind? If you were an actor, what would you say
When
your
did you
motivation?
know that was the face? When you're like, oh, that's the face.
I don't know. If I got me laid, if I some girl like I got the most
You
likes.
had the cutest face. Now you're just stuck going for the rest of your life.
Yeah, it's like those science experiments where the animals, the thing they were doing when they got the reward, they just keep doing that thing over and over again. Yeah,
100%.
Totally.
It's like chicks with cocaine. They just keep giving it up because they're constantly getting free cocaine. Right? Is
Dude,
that
you
how
do
it
see
goes?
that. Yeah.
That's all I'm saying, dude. Okay, well.
I just wanted to see. Hold on. I just so people at home.
Yeah, I knew Johnny was definitely.
I just want to
gonna-
see if we can get the perfect. There's some good examples on here somewhere.
Let's
Oh,
see.
there it is, right there.
There it is. There it
That's
is.
with
Oh,
Alex
that's
Jones.
it.
Yeah, of
That's
course
it.
I had to
That's
do it
it.
with Alex Jones.
Yeah, you had to do it with Alex Jones.
Hey Sam, if you would have been president, what department are you putting Alex Jones in?
Alex Jones, that's a great question.
It looks like the Fonzie, right?
I would definitely. Hey, Mexican Fonzie. Hey, look what I found. Hey, I'm surprised too.
If you'd like to hear the rest of this episode, subscribe to Broken Simulation in your podcasting app or check us out at youtube.com/SamTripoli.
We go deep, homeboy. Aaron, open your mind. Drink from the fountain of knowledge. There's lizard people everywhere. That's some interdimensional shit. Wake up, Aaron.
This is only the beginning.
Dude, you just blew my mind. Tinfoil hack.